Holy fuckaroo, this show is absolute dog shit. In fact, I'm willing to go so far to say that this show is probably the worst thing to come out of the MCU. Ever. Now granted, I have not seen Thor: The Dark World, and it's been a while since I've seen Iron Man 3. And I have also not seen Shang-Chi, and the only thing I can say about the Eternals is that their Lego sets look pretty cool. But, even from what I've heard and remember, I'm sure that they don't have the type of bullshit this show has. First of all, this show is shockingly racist. It has that stupid ass trope where characters just randomly point out the color of people's skin for no fucking reason at all whatsoever. Now, what makes that trope objectively terrible is still debatable, since, you know, some characters are edgy and shit, but I can confidently say that I usually hate said trope, no matter which skin color it's referring to. Cause, like, isn't the point of equality to not judge people by the color of their skin and shit? Now, that's a trope I used to think was pretty hilarious because only really bad movies were doing it, like Netflix's Finding Ohana, or Ohana, or whatever the fuck it's called. But then, this show just does it constantly, man. Well, okay, technically, from memory standpoint, it does it only twice, but the recaps repeat those. Okay, first of all, you know, there's Falcon going, so you're telling me that there's a black super soldier and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the fuck does his skin color have to do with anything? And then he makes an edgy joke with Bucky later, saying, oh, you're White Panther? No, I'm actually White Wolf. Huh? I mean, that was a double form of racism, because then, like, you also insult Black Panther by assuming that they're called Black Panther because, you know, he's black and such. Now, I mean, I guess I could let that one side. It's banter. Falcon is being a bit edgy, you know, but, like, fuck me, man. And that's another thing. They expect us to believe that in this show, Falcon is super progressive, but, in the final episode, when he comes across a henchman that's apparently French, he says something along the line of, oh, go eat a baguette.
Maybe a baguette, like, a few french fries.
Jesus Christ. Now, I wouldn't take issue with any of those if the show itself establishes Falcon to be an edgy boy, but he's supposedly not. By the show itself, he's seen as a super progressive, righteous figure, even though in reality he is nowhere near such, which I will get to. Bucky is pretty much wasted. They have this unique plot thread where he tries to go and cheer up the families of those he's murdered in the past, back when he was under mind control. But they pretty much drop that, only to just briefly bring that up again at the ending. It's a false arc. It's just pathetic. And this is a major problem with the show. Both Bucky and Falcon are absolute douchebags in this show. Because I've already told you about Falcon's racist remarks. For those of you who don't know, there's a guy that's meant to be a replacement for Captain America, and his name is John Walker. Now, I have mixed feelings about John Walker. I didn't know how to feel about him, most likely because the show writers clearly didn't either. But yeah, in the second episode where they first meet, Falcon and Bucky were treating John Walker as if he was a narcissistic celebrity douchebag, and it was pretty obvious the show wanted us to believe that. But around that time, John Walker didn't do anything that would have proved that, so Bucky and Falcon were just being absolute assholes to him. And it wasn't until the end of the second episode where John Walker started acting like the douchebag the show wanted us to believe, with him saying, okay, well, then you better stay out of my way from the mission then. But because of how they treated him earlier, the context could say that he just thinks that they're really arrogant people, and he wants them to stay out of the way. And he has the right to feel like that after the way Falcon and Bucky treats him. And, oh my god, John Walker as a whole is just, oh Jesus. Basically, the context is, he's one of those characters the show wants you to be a douchebag, but for the most part, it shows the exact opposite. It tells you he's a douche, but he's not. Well, there is one scene where I think they successfully showed him to be idiotic, but it's the infamous scene where he brutally murders that one super soldier with his shield. But to be frank, the context is that super soldier helped cause the death of his friend. And he was trying to avenge his friend. Plus, they didn't give them super handcuffs for the super soldiers, so they really didn't know what to do with them. Yeah, you know, war is fucking complicated. Though, to be frank, I rewatched that scene, and I think what John Walker did was stupid. Because he shouts, where's... Fuck, what's her name? I'm just going to call her Abby because she's treated exactly like Abby from Last of Us Part 2. So, John Walker goes, where's Abby? And then he beats the dude to the ground, and the dude is saying, it wasn't me, in context of he didn't kill John Walker's friend. And instead of asking where Abby is again, instead of trying to ask where Abby is again, he just goes straight to beating that man to death with the shield. So yeah, my stance on that scene was, contextually, it's not as bad as the show tries to make it seem, but I still think it was a pretty stupid thing for him to do. And it's the one scene where they successfully showed that he was a douchebag. The problem is, because of how he acts in the rest of the show, that scene comes across as him being very out of character. Speaking of Abby, who I was referring to is the leader of the terrorists, the leader of the flag smashers. She blew up a fucking building full of innocent people, and that was before the show tried to make us empathize with her, and good God, that was so bad. Abby was just an awful person, as far as I knew, and it was really stupid that Falcon was trying to defend her, trying to redeem her and such. It's the Steven Universe finale all over again. Actually, no, fuck that shit. It's even worse than the Steven Universe finale, because at least with that, A, it's understandable why Steven would want to redeem them, because they're distant relatives, and B, one of them was actually shown to have redeemable qualities, and C, they actually did make up for their crimes. They actually did fix the damages they did. Abby was shot dead, so she couldn't prove herself to be redeemable, and yet Falcon was all sad about that. And you know what's even more stupid? The fact that she was treated like some sort of heroine, and yet her goons, the goons she had that actually questioned her actions, the goons that actually were starting to feel bad for what they did, they were just simply thrown into jail cells. They were treated like dead weight and shit like that. Yeah, stupid form of irony. And yeah, really fucked up morality in this show. Part of the reason why it's the worst thing to come out of the MCU ever. Garbage. Don't watch it.